Hey everybody, this is Zay again here with Zay's Thoughts, and today I'm going to be reviewing John Carter. I visited Redbox. I know it wasn't on my list, but it's a movie that I heard some negative things about, so I wanted to just kind of develop my own personal opinion, just like I do with everything else. John Carter is a movie about a guy named John Carter who's a ruthless soldier during the Civil War in 1868. He's hated by everyone in Virginia, which is where he lives, because he has no regard for the law, no regard for other human life, his own human life. He's reckless, does whatever he does. There's a scene in the movie where he goes into the bar and he owes the bartender $100, which in 1868 is a ton of money. Now it's a ton of money. And he refuses to pay it, and he tells this story about how he knows of this cave full of gold, and that's going to be his light at the end of the tunnel, and that's how he's going to get out of all this. And in the middle of a gunfight with some guys that he also owed money to, he comes across this medallion, and this medallion takes him to Mars. And once he gets to Mars, he can jump higher than anyone else. He's stronger than most of these people in the tribe, the Helium tribe, and they want to use him as a weapon to fight against the Zodanga tribe, which they've been at war with for thousands of years. Carter is more of a slow-built Disney film. It's made by Disney, and it goes down more of the Pirates of the Caribbean role than Finding Nemo type of movie role. And I still feel like it's suitable for all ages. You can watch it with your family and everything's fine. There's no cursing, there's no sex, nothing like that. So it's a nice G-rated movie that everyone can watch. If you've seen the movie Prince of Persia, it's a lot like that. A little less action than Prince of Persia, but if you watch it, it almost seemed like a prequel or a side story to Prince of Persia. They're very much alike. It's starring Taylor Kitsch as John Carter. You might remember him from Friday Night Lights or Battleship, and Lynn Collins as his love interest in the movie. Briefly, I just want to talk about some of the things that I thought were good or that really stuck out about John Carter. And the number one thing you're going to hear about this movie is the CGI, which looks fantastic. It's some of the best CGI that I really have ever seen in a movie. And the only movie I can really think that compares to it is Avatar. Yeah, the James Cameron film, billion-dollar movie, we all know about Avatar. But this movie was really close to it, believe it or not. You can tell the guys at Disney put in a ton of hours to get this done. You can tell a lot of money was spent on getting this done. And, like the flying machines in the movie, they're on Mars. There's going to be plenty of futuristic technology and stuff like that. And with the flying machines in here, they're really articulate, and you can tell that art and imagery was a big focus of the director in this movie, because they really do go above and beyond to show what they believe Mars would be like if John Carter was there, from the comic book and from the graphic novel. And they really do set a good feel. You feel like you're in Mars, and you feel like these things are actually real. They don't seem like cartoons to you. Well, I mean cartoons as in animated, but still, they still look really well. And I enjoyed most of the story in this movie, especially the Helium people, which are the green people or the aliens in here. And I really enjoyed their culture and how the story kind of made you care about their people. And a lot of times in movies these days, you don't really care for the characters. They're there, and you're just kind of along for the ride. You don't really develop an emotional connection with this movie, and I feel like John Carter really did strive for that and actually did a great job. Well, we talked about the good things in this movie, and I think it's only fair that we do talk about some of the bad things, because there were a good amount of them, and there were some things that I really thought could have been better, and they were some of the things that I mentioned earlier that were actually kind of good about it. And one of the biggest things is it seems like it's been done before. I feel like when I watch Prince of Persia, when I watch Avatar, that I've seen this movie before. Like I said, the CGI was something that kind of put it over the top, but Avatar had already done that. They set the bar here, and still, John Carter's right here, which is still above most movies, but once again, it's already been done before. And another thing was, this movie is slow. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes, so it is extremely slow. And not enough happened for me, in my opinion, to keep me interested throughout the movie. I felt if they would have cut 30 or 45 minutes, this movie would have been 5 times better than it already was. Not saying that this is a bad movie by any chance, but you're gonna sit there and you're gonna start to yawn and you're gonna look to your left, look to your right, and wonder, when is this gonna end? How much longer can they drag this story out? And I mean, I actually began writing my review for this movie during the movie just to keep myself awake and keep myself occupied during those scenes at the beginning and in the latter part of the middle where not much is going on. It's just a lot of storytelling. And really the last thing that I can really complain about this movie is it cost $250 million to make. That CGI is not cheap. And the people who do the CGI are not cheap. And worldwide, this movie made $282 million, which is not bad. But when your budget is $250 million, you only made $32 million in profit, and I'm not sure if this movie was worth it. And there have been talks of a sequel, and I think with $32 million profit, it's up to the studio. If Disney wants to do it, I think people might go to see it because I feel like with a lot of the storytelling out of the way, the sequel could be a lot better than the original. And with the ending, a sequel's kind of questionable, but I think that it can still definitely be done. Especially with $73 million made domestically, I think that there is money to be made from John Carter. And that's why personally I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. I've gone back and forth between 6 and 7, but I feel like because the CGI was great, because after going back and forth between a few ratings and some mixed emotions about this film, I decided to give it a 7 out of 10 because Taylor Kitsch did a pretty good job. The CGI in this movie was fantastic. And when the story wasn't dragging along during, I'd say about an hour 20, hour 30 minutes, it was actually a decent enough story. And I think that this is a movie that people should definitely go see. I recommend it on Redbox, $1 a rent. And who knows, maybe you guys will enjoy it just as much as I did, if not more, and hopefully not less. Please everybody like, favorite, and subscribe. Thank you so much for your support, and I hope you guys have a great night, and stay tuned for what I have in store for the future, because I guarantee you'll love it.